Hey there, friends. Abby here, and this practice is special requested for those of you who have trouble with your sacrum. Now, sacrum destabilization is a pretty common thing that happens in yoga, and so this particular video is going to be a quick anatomy lesson, a little discussion about what we need to know in order to support the sacrum, and then a short practice that'll give you some specific moves that you can work on that will support the stabilization of the sacral bone. Now, the first thing to be aware of is where's the sacrum and what's happening to it. So the sacrum is the flat and triangular bone that sits at the base of your spine. So at the bottom of your lower back is your sacrum, and just below it is your tailbone. On either side of your sacrum are your two wings of your pelvis. The reason that the sacrum can easily become destabilized in yoga is because we are putting ourselves through poses that are asymmetrical in the two sides of the pelvis. What this does is it twists both the thigh bones in different ways in the sockets, and it also rotates the two sides of the pelvis in different ways. The sacrum is right in between those bones, and it can get a little torqued or twisted when we do this in a way that puts it in stress. Now, there are a number of ways that we can support the sacrum, the first of which is strengthen the muscles around it that tend to be weak so that it's more supported. There's three particular muscles I want to speak to that are going to help support the sacrum if they get stronger. The first of which is your gluteus maximus. That's your tush. And the upper part of your gluteus maximus attaches along the edge of your sacrum and then wraps around to the pelvic bones. Very often, people who have sacrum destabilization have a weak gluteus maximus on either both sides or one side, and that can be most likely because of sitting, but also can be because of asymmetrical things that we've done growing up, like playing a particular sport, or sometimes sleeping on one side, that kind of thing. So the first thing that we're going to strengthen in this little video is the gluteus maximus. The second thing that oftentimes needs to be strengthened for people who have unstable sacrums is the upper part of the hamstrings. Now, the hamstrings are the muscles on the backs of your thighs that attach from the backs of your knees all the way up to the two bones you sit on called your sit bones, or your ischial tuberosities, if you're feeling kind of nerdy today. Now, the upper part of the hamstrings oftentimes get weak, again because of sitting, and what happens is if they're weak, they can kind of pull in odd ways on the sit bones, which again will torque the pelvis, which will torque the sacrum. So we're also going to strengthen the upper hamstrings a little bit today. The final muscle that I want to bring your attention to that needs to be likely strengthened are the muscles that sit in your undercarriage. So if you feel your two sit bones and you feel the pelvic floor muscles that attach your sit bones to your pubic bone and your tailbone, those muscles underneath your torso can get kind of goopy. And so what happens is, again, the sides of the pelvis can kind of swing. And so another thing we'll do is work on bringing the two sit bones in towards each other in order to support the sacrum. Now, on top of the muscles that need to be strengthened, there are two additional muscles I want to speak to that specifically work when they're tight to destabilize the sacrum. The first of which is your psoas. That's one of your deepest hip flexor muscles. It's a belly muscle. The second one is your quadratus lumborum, which is the muscle that you use to hike your hip up. You stretch it doing side bends. And so those two muscles tend to be tight on people who have sacrum destabilization. Now, a final thing I want to mention before we jump into this is that I'm not a doctor, right? Little caveat. So while these particular practices are incredibly useful, and I highly recommend that you either weave them into your physical practice or you add them on therapeutically, is that if your sacrum continues to give you trouble, or the two joints that attach the sacrum to either sides of your pelvis, which are, by the way, called your sacroiliac joints, sometimes called your SI joints. If those give you a lot of trouble, work these practices. And then if that doesn't help, I highly recommend going to see a doctor. Now, just to final little plug is that some of these moves I learned from my teacher, T.S. Little, and some of these moves I also learned from my teachers, Jumbo and Brian. All of their information is up on my website, and so if you like these and you want to learn more, I highly recommend checking out my teachers as they are such wonderful beings. Okay, so for this practice, you're going to need a block. Go ahead and grab one and lay down on your back, and we'll get started in working some sacrum stabilization. All right, my friends. So go ahead and grab that block, lay down on your back, and land with your feet planted and your knees pointing up. Allow the knees to knock towards each other, keeping the feet about as wide as your hips, maybe even slightly wider. Now, the first thing to do is to start to feel where the sacrum is in space. Right? We call this interoception. So allow your eyes to gently close and bring your attention down into that flat and triangular bone. You should be able to feel the weight of it on the floor and just simply start by feeling the space around it. Bring your attention to the right side of your sacrum, where it attaches to the right side of your pelvis. Feel for any strong or interesting sensations there. And then feel the left side of your sacrum, the left wing of your pelvis, even the left side of your lower back. How does the left side of your sacrum feel in comparison to the right? Now finally feel the top rim of your sacrum, where your lower back ends. Is there any compression in that area? Any strong sensations? Now go ahead and place your hands on your low belly, and let's take a few breaths through, towards, and into the sacrum to start to awaken it just a little before we get moving. So go ahead and exhale all of your breath comfortably out. Through your nose, inhale, breathe towards your hands, towards your sacrum, spreading your low back. Hold your inhale, hold for 3, 2, 1, and exhale, sigh, and relax your sacrum and your pelvic bones. Relax your low belly. Again, inhale through the nose, breathe towards your sacrum. Try and touch that bone with your breath. Hold your breath at the top, retain. Exhale, maybe with a sigh, soften into the ground. We'll do one more. Through the nose, breathe in, through, towards, and around your sacrum with your breath. Feel it maybe on the floor, spread open. Feel your low belly spread under your hands. Hold your inhale, kumbhaka, and exhale, soften in space. Okay, keep your right leg as it is and extend your left leg straight along the floor. Shift your arms open into either a goalpost or a T shape for this first move, which is designed specifically to unwind the tightness in the QL and in the psoas. And this move is from T.S. Little, by the way. So go ahead and keep your right foot fully grounded on the floor, but allow your right knee to knock a little bit to the left. Press into your right foot slightly. As you inhale, lift your right hip and take a little mellow twist. As you exhale, bring your right hip to the floor and point the knee to the sky. Inhale, press right foot into the floor for this little baby twist. Exhale, come back through to center. Again, press into right foot. Inhale, right hip lifts, twist slightly. And exhale, hip down, knee to the sky. Take a few more cycles like this, moving in a pulsing way with your breath. And bring your mind's eye, bring your attention to the right side of your sacrum, the right side of your lower back, the right low belly. What can you feel start to move and twist and open here? Right. If your SI joint is a little unstable, this can feel a little bit pinchy. So ensure as you continue to pulse here that you're only moving so deep as feels interesting and safe, and not forcing the joints into any kind of torque that can put pressure on them. Inhale to twist, exhale to release, and take 2 more. Next exhale, release the right hip to the ground. Keep your right foot as it is, and then gently pivot your right knee out to the right, like Baddha Konasana. And just gently slide your right leg straight until you're in a Shavasana shape. Take just a few moments to feel the asymmetry in the 2 sides of your sacrum, pelvis, and legs. Exhale all your breath out, option to bring hands to the belly, and let's take 1 breath here. Inhale towards, through, and around your sacrum. Hold your inhale at the top. You might be able to feel that the right side receives your breath a little differently. And then exhale again, soften and melt into the earth. Release your arms back into a goalpost or a T shape, and then plant your left foot flat with your knee pointing to the sky. Right leg is straight and relaxed. Same move here. Start by allowing your left leg to pivot just a little to the right, but keep your left foot on the ground. Next inhale, press into your left foot and twist. Exhale, come back to center. Find your pulsating twist here, and right away, be curious if this side feels different or similar to the other, and how. All right, left versus right. You may be able to feel that as you do these, the body slowly starts to open. So can you observe on a more nuanced level what's happening in the left waist, low back, and hip? Finish the round you're on and take 2 more. Next exhale, let your hip land. Let your left knee open out to the left and just slide along your pinky edge. Rest in Shavasana and absorb the energy moving on the left side of the body. Inhale, fully breathe towards, through, and around your sacrum. Hold your breath. Exhale, soften in space. Locate your block, grab that, plant both of your feet flat, setting up for a modified little bridge flow. You're going to take your block on its skinniest width between the upper thigh meat of your legs. Now, one thing I didn't mention at the very beginning of this video is that another thing that often needs to be strengthened for people with sacrum instability is your adductors or your groin muscles. Those are the muscles that run from your inner knee to your inner thigh along your inseam. Okay, so this move that we're about to do is going to strengthen the glutes, the hamstrings, and the adductors. So it's a triple whammy. Now, I recommend that you start with your fingertips along the sides of your hips and just gently hold your glutes and maybe your upper hamstrings with a light grip on the sides of your legs. You're kind of holding your outer hips and outer thighs. All right, here we go. Soften your lower back, release the pit of your belly, and exhale until you're comfortably empty. Through your nose, inhale towards your sacrum, your low belly, and your low back. Hold your inhale, squeeze the block, and press your heels into the floor. As you exhale, curl your sit bones to the ceiling as you press your sacrum into the ground. Okay, soften all of those pieces. Relax your legs, your hips, and your low belly. Let's do it again, and this time I'll talk through what we're strengthening. It might be a little slower. Inhale into low belly, low back, and sacrum. Hold the breath, squeeze the block. That's the adductors. Hold the breath, press into your heels. That's the hamstrings. Exhale, press your sacrum into the floor as you curl your sit bones up your legs. That's your glutes and your hamstrings. Okay, soften completely, breathe normally. Really let go and even give yourself a little wiggle if you need to. Let's do one more just like that. Inhale into sacrum. Hold the breath, squeeze the block, adductors. Hold the breath, press into your heels, hamstrings. Exhale, press your sacrum into the floor, curl your sit bones up, hamstrings and glutes. Good, soften completely and gently remove the block. Place it off to the side. Take your arms into a goalpost shape and take a few windshield wipers here. As you inhale, knock your knees one direction, pivoting on the feet, exhale, come to center. Inhale, knees knock the other direction, and exhale, center. Do about 3 more rounds. Again, really attend to the 2 sides of your sacrum as you flow here. Feel the rotation of the thigh bones and the sockets, the twisting and rotation through the 2 pelvic wings. And if you can zoom in, how all of that assorted torquing and rotation impacts your sacrum. Good. Next time the knees come up to center, you're all finished. Hug your knees into your chest. Inhale, again into your sacrum. Exhale, curl your head and shoulder blades up, lift head and shoulders. It's just a little belly neutralization. And then start to rock up and down or side to side. And make your way up to tabletop position. Cross your ankles, roll forward, and land in table. Okay, so this next move can be done either from downward facing dog or from tabletop, depending on how much oomph you want. I'm feeling like down dog, but feel free to simply be in table instead. So either tuck your toes and lift your hips, or be in that nice comfortable table position. Now, in table, bring your knees to touch. In down dog, bring your feet to touch. As you inhale, lift your right leg up and back, but don't go too high. Try and feel that your sacrum is flat, like you could put a teacup on it. Reach through both arms and the lifted leg. Breathe in. Exhale, step the foot through and set your back knee down. And you can always pad underneath the knee with a blanket if you need to. Now walk your hands up onto your thigh and rise into a lunge. So lunging is the place where we stabilize and strengthen. Okay, now take your right hand to your right upper hamstring, wrapping it underneath your thigh. Take your left hand to your left glute, your left tush. Everybody there? Here we go. Here are your stabilizing moves. Take a deep breath in. Move number 1, exhale, push your right heel down and forward to turn on your hamstring. Keep that and feel your hamstring under your hand go ding, ding, ding. Okay, next move. Inhale fully. As you exhale, curl your right sit bone, again, right where your fingertips are, in towards your tailbone. Try and bring the sit bone into the midline. Again, keep that. Take an inhale. Move number 3 is the glute. As you exhale, turn your left glute on underneath your hand. Okay, release that completely and you could even let yourself sink low and feel how your sacrum kind of twists when you do that. And then let's do the whole thing one more time so you can really feel it. Now, first things first, feel your sacrum in space. Can you feel that it's a little twisted? Let's stabilize. Take a breath in. Hamstring first. Exhale, push right foot down and forward, especially the heel. Your hips will lift a couple inches. That's correct. Okay, keep that. Inhale. Exhale, curl your right sit bone in towards the midline. So under your right hand, you feel that draw in. Inhale fully, last piece. Exhale, squeeze your left glute, and if you want a little bonus, press through the top of your left foot. Okay, those are your stabilizing moves. Release the hands. Inhale, step back into plank, down dog, or table, and pause for a couple breaths. Feel the difference in the two sides of the body. Feel the difference. Feel the difference in the two sides of the body. Inhale, breathe into your sacrum. Exhale to soften. And one more time. Inhale, breathe into your sacrum. And exhale, release. Now, in table, knees together and down dog, feet together. Inhale, left leg rises. Again, try and flatten the sacrum so the left side is not elevated, right? Left hip to the floor, left toes to the floor. Breathe in, reach through hands and toes. Exhale, curl in, step through, and set your back knee down. Again, pat underneath that right knee if you need to. Bring your hands up to your thigh, low lunge. Right away, can you feel as you let your hips sink that your sacrum is slightly twisted to face more towards the right? So we'll do the stabilization twice. First things first, left hand to the top of the left hamstring and the left sit bone, right hand to the glute. Inhale towards your sacrum. Exhale, push your left heel down and forward and see if you can sense under your hand your upper hamstring turn on. Next piece, the undercarriage. Breathe in. Exhale, curl the left sit bone in towards the midline. Again, you want to feel that under your fingertips. Inhale one more time. Exhale, turn your right glute on underneath your hand, and then pause and feel that your sacrum is significantly more neutral. Okay, let it go completely. Sink your hips, maybe not all the way, right? But you could if it feels safe. And again, feel the twist in the pelvis, the torque through the sacrum. And let's do it one more time. Left hand to left hamstring, right hand to right glute. Inhale fully. Exhale, press left heel down and forward to turn on your upper hamstring. Feel your hips lift a couple inches. Inhale again. Exhale, curl left sit bone in towards the midline, shortening your undercarriage. Last one, inhale fully. Exhale, turn on your right glute, and for a little extra, press into the top of the foot. Release, plant both hands, step back into table, plank, or downward dog. Some of you could even take a vinyasa. And again, just take a moment to pause. Set your knees down if you're not already there. Wiggle it out a little bit in table or rest in child's pose for a few moments. And then all together into a wide-legged child's pose. Maybe stack your palms under your forehead. Final moves here is 2 final breaths towards the sacrum. Start by exhaling everything out. Inhale, wash your breath in, around, and through your sacrum. Hold at the top. Exhale, soften your sacrum, your pelvis, your legs. One more time. Inhale, breathe towards, around, and through your sacrum. Hold. And release. Okay, my friends. From here, you're welcome to move into any other practice. If you have questions, comments, or concerns, please feel free to reach out to me through my website, through email. These practices are so powerful and so useful, and I highly recommend that you take them with you and explore them. And again, check in with Tias and Brian and Jumbo for more very cool kinds of practices. I hope that this was useful and helpful to all of you. Thank you so very much for joining me, and may you have a very blessed day. Namaste.